Alright, today guys we're going to talk about squaring up your fence to your table. Now to do this, all you need is a scrap piece of board like this. This board must have two parallel sides. It also should be fairly thick this way. It'll make the results a little clearer as opposed to just cutting a small little board like this. The way this works is by making two passes, one like this, and then flipping the piece over and making another cut. Now, if our saw is cutting at a true 0-degree cut, then the offshoot piece will be completely parallel front to back. There won't be any deviation. Now, I'm going to show you how this works by setting my saw at about a degree to the left. So, I'm going to make my first pass. Just cutting off the end. Now we're going to take the piece and flip it over. This time I'm going to cut off about an 1/8 inch strip off the end. Now you can see that the back is much skinnier than the front. That's because our saw is not cutting at 90 degrees. If it was cutting at exactly 90 degrees, these two sides would have the same thickness. Okay, so now that we know the process, we're going to actually do it. We're going to set our saw at 0 degrees and lock it down. We'll make a first pass, cutting off the end. Now we're going to flip that same piece over. We're still cutting on the same side, but we're just flipping the piece over. And we're going to cut off about an 1/8 inch strip. Now I can see the front is slightly skinnier than the back. Now this isn't much, but it's a little bit skinnier. So this tells us that our fence is not completely square. So to adjust that, we're going to get an Allen key like this one, and we're going to go in the back and we're going to loosen up these Allen bolts. Now I find it easier if you leave one of the bolts tight or at least snug, because then your fence isn't wiggling all over the place. You have a pivot point. So if this is my location where I'm leaving the bolt snug and my piece is skinnier in the front, then I know that I need to bring my fence this way on this side. It needs to move forward. So we're going to loosen up these bolts. We're going to tap it a couple times with a piece of wood or a hammer, and we're going to tighten it back down, and we're going to try the process again. So now that we've made our adjustments, we're just going to repeat the process by cutting off the end, flipping it over, and cutting off an 1/8 inch strip. Now this to me looks really good. I would be happy with this result. But if you're wanting some really good results, you can get yourself a digital caliper. So I'm going to zero it out and I'm going to measure the back. And I get 0.145, and I'm going to measure the front at 0.141. So that is really good right there. I'm fine with that result, and so I'm done here. If you need to be closer, you can just repeat the process over and over again. That's the great thing about this method, is that it's just trial and error, and eventually you get the results that you want. Now it's important to note that the same method can be used for squaring up your adjustment in the back. All you got to do is set your adjustment to 90 degrees or to 0 degrees back here, and set this one for 0 degrees. Make a pass by cutting off the end, flipping it over, and making a second pass, cutting off about 1/8 of an inch. It works the same way. Alright guys, so there's a simple way to square up your miter saw so it cuts true and straight. Talk to you next time.